Guys, today I'm working on a Chevy Sprint head. This is a little 1-liter Suzuki motor. This thing blew the gasket pretty good right here in cylinder 1. You can see that. My buddy Bobby, Ricky Bobby, you guys know the guy.
If you ain't first, you're last.
He dropped this off for me to resurface, but I'm gonna pop this thing apart a little bit and check it out for him. All right, so I flipped this thing over. These things have little screws, and you have to use one of these little tools called the impact driver to get these out. Someone mangled these back screws pretty bad, so I'm gonna get a punch, hammer that down, and try to mash that material down so the impact driver has something to bite onto. So I'm gonna get you guys on a tripod and work these things out. All right, here we go. I wish this guy would have stopped after the first one because quite a bit of these are pretty mangled. And the thing is, if you haven't used one of these before, you hammer it down and it actually pushes down and does a little twist all at the same time, and it helps break these fasteners, torque heads, any kind of bolt you want to get out. This helps a lot, and it'll save your butt in the long run. That one's already loose. All right, wish me luck on this POS. Let me hammer this in first. Oh yeah, we're gonna get this out for sure. Little medicine bottles work great for little tools like, or pieces like this, or valve locks, keepers, clips, anything tiny. Those screws are just to keep these rocker shafts in place. So now we can take the rockers off. There you have it. My brother Gordy had one of these little Chevy Sprints back in the day, and it was actually the turbo model, and he fooled all his buddies. So when the boost would engage, the light on the dash would light up, and the steering wheel said turbo, so he would get on it, hit the horn, and that light would blink on the dash, and all his buddies thought he had like a turbo button or something. It was pretty funny. So let's get this thing all apart and get this head in the wash. Oh wait, I just caught something. So whoever took this thing apart before put these valve springs in backwards. See how these coils are really tight at the top? On these two? This one not so much. So these springs are directional springs. So the tighter round springs go on the bottom, and then the other ones go on the top. Obviously it'll still work, but it's not right. So just pay attention. When you always take a spring off, just give it a good once over, and you can obviously tell there's tighter wound springs at the bottom. You always want to count your little valve locks, keepers. Always put them in the pill bottle. And then you always want to write on them what they go to. This is for a Chevy Sprint, so you just want. I'll probably write Sprint on here to know what it is. Short for POS is for short. So. All right, I got it flipped over. Now I can kind of evaluate the guides. Intake guides feel really, really tight. There's a little slop in the exhaust. I was actually expecting a little bit more. So I don't know if you can tell this, but these valves are tool up. They have a real, the valve's pretty much like this right now. and it's we call it a tulip valve. These two are like this. Now even this end one a little bit too. So these are pretty tight. And if you inspect it, it does look like it was seating very well. There's just a nice clean mark all the way around the valve on all the intakes. So it definitely was sealing pretty good. It's just these exhausts always take a big hit on all these little Suzukis, the 1 liters, the hydraulic one, the little bit later model engines, they take a big hit on them also. There's a bunch of carbon buildup. This thing was probably smoking, going past the guide, or past the seal, and you know, look at all that buildup on there. All of them are like that, just terrible. Look at that one. That one has a little burr I need to clean up. 1 second. So I deburred all the valves, so now I can just pull them all out. Oop. Luckily they're junk. All the exhaust anyways. The intakes are going to be usable. And then another thing I noticed, wasn't that one. This one right here is on the verge of burning. See that dark discoloration? It's hard to get it to, there we go. Dark right there. And it was getting ready to burn. I think it already burned. If I put this in my grinder, it's going to be low right there for sure. Probably this one too. There's a bunch of buildup on these exhaust seats. And then these Suzuki's always do this. They have a little smog tube here. This is on the intake side, and it's where all the EGR gases go back into the engine right here. They just have these little tubes right here, and it kind of directs that crappy air right in the combustion chamber for you. Help on that emissions, I guess. So I'm gonna pull the seals off. On this side, I'm gonna pull all these seals off, and then there's little shims underneath. You have to pull those off, and then I'll throw this thing in the wash. I have a couple. There's a sensor I'm gonna pull, and then the cam seal. So I'll probably put you on hyperlapse, pull these seals off, and get this thing in the wash. So after getting this thing all stripped down, these valve stem seals are hard as a rock. They're probably polyacrylic or something. All the seals I use are usually a premium Viton valve stem seal. And you never really know what you're getting. You know, when the seal's brand new, it's all nice and pliable. And, you know, if they're not Viton, they're not going to last quite as long. Polyacrylic does last, but it's just Viton's far superior. So you always want to make sure you get a nice quality valve stem seal when you get a head rebuilt. So I'm gonna got this thing all stripped down. Now I'm gonna throw it in the wash. The only thing I haven't pulled out is this oil restrictor right here. There's an oil gallery right here, and there's a little restrictor. So I'm gonna yank that out, buff this up with a wire wheel a little bit in the chamber, and throw this in my jet spray. So right here, there's the oil restrictor, and that just comes out with an Allen. So I'll show you how that comes out. And that just restricts the oil up to the top end. If you don't put that in, it puts too much oil in the top end, and it'll be more prone to smoke because it can't compensate for all that excess oil in there. And this is just kind of almost like a set screw with a little tiny hole in it. I'll put that in my pill bottle. Now it's time for the wash. Besides, I guess I have to bucket it. I'm getting ahead of myself. Now that I have the head slightly prepped, I'm gonna throw this thing in my jet spray. Hey, so I was getting ready to throw this thing in my jet spray, and my buddy forgot to get his fuel pump rod out of here. This little tiny rod here is actually peeping through the mains, or peeping through the journal, this back journal here. Almost fell out. It's just a little rod. It has a little lobe on the camshaft, and it regulates the mechanical fuel pump. Open, close, open, close. So yeah, make sure to take those out if you do one of these heads. All right, here we go. Now it's time for a hot bath. I was going to show you about these graphite gaskets they swell over time. See how raised that is? They swell over time, and just kind of like this side is, I know it blew the gasket obviously, but it just totally kind of disintegrates. It just, over time, that water gets in there and just swells that gasket up, and it just becomes real brittle, and it can cause actual water seepage over time, you know, external or internal. It's just something to be aware of on these older style engines. And then I'll show you a little trick later on how I improve these factory gaskets. These are oil drain backs. Right here and right here are two of the oil drain backs. And you can see how restrictive this drain back hole is and how open this one is. And there's a little trick I do. Almost all the aftermarket head gaskets are like this and very restrictive, and it can cause oil to stay up into the cylinder head and causing it to smoke because the oil can't drain back, and there's just a big pool of water sitting right on the valves, and it causes the engine to smoke when it's just really the gasket's fault causing the smoke issue. So if you have a head gasket failure on your little 1 liter Geo Metro or Chevy Sprint cylinder head, if you put that thing back together, don't do anything about that gasket. It's gonna smoke like a banshee. And don't be mad at the machine shop because it's that dang gasket and the oil drain backs. That's pretty much gonna wrap up this part 1 of this Chevy Sprint head rebuild. There's gonna be a part 2. I'm gonna pull that thing out of the wash, give it a 3-angle valve job, put 3 new exhaust valves in it, surface it, reassemble, adjust them valves, and get it back to my buddy. So that's gonna wrap this up. I appreciate you guys following me along, and I'll see you in the next one.